Now, we time travel right before the NBA season started, and we go to a major sports network like ESPN, and we listen to any of their NBA talk shows, and they're talking about the best teams in the Eastern Conference or the best team in the Eastern Conference to win an NBA championship. We repeatedly heard them bring up the same three teams: the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Those are the only teams they talked about. And if they were talking about any other team in the Eastern Conference, maybe they were talking about the Milwaukee Bucks and what they're going to do with Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Doc Rivers. But one team we did not hear get brought up that much at all in the offseason is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm pretty sure after this, we're about a month into the NBA season. After this first month of the NBA season, I'm sure the Cleveland Cavaliers have caught everyone's attention because they have gotten off to one of the most historical starts in NBA season. Looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, they have a record of 12-0. They're on a 12-game winning streak. They just won their second game in a back-to-back. So they're gonna have a good night of rest before their next game. I believe their next game will be an NBA Cup game, if I'm not mistaken. But to get back to how amazing this offense has been, we look at them right now, where they're ranking as a team in the NBA. Points per game, number one at 122 points per game. We look at field goal percentage and we look at three-point percentage. Number one in the league in field goal percentage at 52%. Number one in three-point percentage at 41%. And in total three-pointers made per game, they come in at 7th in the league. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, they rank top 10 in just about every single offensive category. You look at them in assists per game, they're 5th in the NBA, and also in an effective field goal percentage and in true field goal percentage, they are also number one. And to put the cherry on top of how great these guys are playing offensively, this is what's so impressive to me. And before I say this stat, I also want to point out that the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are playing so much faster than what we're accustomed to seeing since they had Donovan Mitchell the first two seasons. But right now, they're ranked 7th in the league when it comes to pace. So what puts the cherry on top of the sundae for me with the Cleveland Cavaliers is the way that they're playing offense at this frenetic pace, and scoring the basketball so efficiently and at such a high clip. They still have the physical stamina and the mental stamina to be one of the best teams in all of the NBA. One of the best defensive teams in all of the NBA, as they rank 7th in the league when it comes to defensive rating. So from top to bottom on both sides of the ball, right now the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA. And it makes a lot of sense because we look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, we look at them on paper, we can make an argument that they have one of the best starting fives in the NBA because of their core four players. When we look at their backcourt, they have one of the best backcourts in the NBA with Darius Garland, who is a 3-level scorer, and then he's so good at being a playmaker because he has an amazing handle on the basketball. He can process the game, and he's a terrific passer. And then his running mate is Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell, to me, I think he's always been super underrated because I've watched Donovan Mitchell a lot since he came into the league. And when he was on the Utah Jazz and he got into the postseason, he looks like a completely different player taking his game to the next level. And for me personally, that's what does it to me when you see how a guy performs in the playoffs and they take their game to a whole new level. And Donovan Mitchell is one of those guys. He's an electric, athletic 3-level scorer with a soft touch on his jump shot. You can't ask for much more out of an offensive player. He is the complete package. Now the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're one of the few teams in the NBA that has one of the best backcourts in the NBA, but also one of the best front courts. We look at their front court. At the 4th spot, they have Evan Mobley, the number 3 overall pick from the 2021 NBA draft, easily a number one overall pick type of talent. That's how deep that draft class was, but that's a conversation for a different day. We look at Evan Mobley, and the best part of his game is his defense, the way he's able to be so versatile, be a rim protector, hedge out and switch if he has to, play in the passing lanes, and then also rebound the basketball. And he's really good on the offensive side of the ball. We see him making strides each and every night in that shot, and that's props to Coach Kenny Atkinson. And then we look at his front court partner, Jared Allen, an all-star caliber center who's made an all-star team, one of the best rebounders in the NBA, a terrific low post defender, and an even better shot blocker / rim protector. And he's also really good on the offensive side of the ball. So when you could take these 4 players of the Cleveland Cavaliers and compare them to the 4 best players, I would say about 95. It's going to be hard to find a team with 4 players, their first 4 players being better than the Cavaliers' first 4 best players. That's how good these guys are. So, and we look at the Cleveland Cavaliers since they've had Donovan Mitchell. People say that they underachieved, and I understand that because like we just said, we just named how good these guys are. First year with Donovan Mitchell, they go home in the first round. Second year with him, they go home in the second round. But I like to take things into context. We look at the Cleveland Cavaliers since they've had Donovan Mitchell. These 4 core grouper guys, they just didn't really be able to find that cohesiveness in the regular season because at different times, all 4 of these guys were dealing with some knick-knack injuries that kept them out. While 3 of them were healthy, or sometimes two of them were out while 2 of them were healthy. And when it came to the postseason, we just didn't really see that cohesiveness. And then another thing, now it didn't seem like this when Coach JB Bickerstaff was coaching, or I guess we could say it, that it did seem like this, but it was no way to confirm it until we seen the Cavaliers with the new coach. And what I'm alluding to is that this team was not being fully optimized because under Coach JB Bickerstaff, they look like a completely different team under the new coach, Kenny Atkinson, who has done an amazing job with the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the beginning of the video, we talked about how they've had one of the most historical offensive starts and one of the most historical team starts to an NBA season. And a few more history stats for you guys, or a few more record-breaking stats for you guys. The Cleveland Cavaliers reaching 12-0. They become only the 8th team in NBA history to win their first 12 games of the season. And also, out of their first 12 games, they've scored 130 points. The only other team to do that in NBA history was the team all the way from 1960. It was during the 1960-61 season, the Philadelphia 76ers. And if I'm not mistaken, Wilt Chamberlain was a part of that team. So Kenny Atkinson, he comes in, replaces Coach JB Bickerstaff, who now coaches my Detroit Pistons, but he comes in and makes their offense look completely different. And the way that he's doing it, he's not doing nothing too crazy. He's not drawing up super magical brain twisting plays, but he's keeping it very simple. And I think the biggest thing that Kenny Atkinson has came in and done for the Cleveland Cavaliers was to get these 4 best players to bond into being unselfish. And Donovan Mitchell talked about this. He said that this group was eager to learn and that they were going to embrace their new head coach, and whatever he thought needed to be done, they were going to follow suit. And that's what we're seeing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And right now, with the 2 main things that Kenny Atkinson has implemented into this offense is more ball movement and also playing a lot faster and just making everybody out there on the basketball court a threat. We look at the Cleveland Cavaliers offense the past 2 seasons, they got a bit stagnant at times and a bit predictable, but it's not like that this season because the ball is steadily moving. They're utilizing this offensive talent to their max ability. And what we see is we see the ball constantly moving. We see guys cutting super hard. We see the extra pass getting made. If a guy is running off a screen, if a guy is setting a screen, he's doing it like his life is dependent on it. And we look at some guys that's performing well individually. Donovan Mitchell, I think he deserves a huge round of applause because we know how talented he is. We know how well he can score the basketball. And when you're that good, you can easily say, I want to come out and I want to shoot the ball whenever I feel like it, and then everybody else falls in line. But instead, we see Donovan Mitchell being an active participant in the offense when the basketball is not in his hands. And Donovan Mitchell, he's so good that when the basketball is not in his hands, he doesn't really have to do too much outside of spotting up, because Donovan Mitchell, as a spot up engaged 3-point shooter, and it was at one point in time this season, I believe, when the Cleveland Cavaliers were 6-0, he was hitting his catch and shoot threes on at a 52% clip, and I'm pretty sure it hasn't dipped too much. He hasn't been shooting the ball poorly or anything like that, so he's knocking down that 3-point shot He's knocking down that 3-point shot off the catch at a high clip, and we have Donovan Mitchell doing that. Just off that alone, it opens up so many different things for everybody else on the offense. It opens up a lot of things for Donovan Mitchell if he catches his man sagging and he elects to shoot the 3-point shot. It's a wide open three, and then Donovan Mitchell is one of the best shot creators in the league. If a guy closes out too hard, he can attack that closeout really easily, and then you're just making things a lot easier with somebody as talented as Karis LeVert or Darius Garland with the basketball in their hands, because now they have one less defender to worry about, because that guy is going to be fully occupied with Donovan Mitchell. And then I love the big to big connection that the Cleveland Cavaliers have with Evan Mobley and what they have with Jared Allen. And usually we don't see teams play two bigs like this in today's NBA, because a lot of teams will be forcing these guys to shoot, but the spacing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, even with two bigs that don't really shoot 3-point shots, the spacing is immaculate. And I love where if Jared Allen isn't the screen setter and Evan Mobley is the screen setter, they have him on that deep baseline where he is so dangerous from, because he can throw up his little post hook shot from right there, or he can take one power dribble and dump the ball right there. So wherever the big is going to have to stay occupied with Jared Allen, and then you have Evan Mobley as that roll man, who's becoming a lot better at that short roll, putting the basketball on the ground and making decisions whether to shoot, pass, or dribble. And you guys know they call that the triple threat in basketball. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, they switch their rotation up throughout the whole game. Those four guys right there, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley. Kenny Atkinson does a great job of using them in what is that word? Oh my God, it's a basketball term that I'm looking for. I can't think of it, but he does a great job of playing the four of these guys in two combinations throughout the whole game, whether it's Darius Garland and Jared Allen, or Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, or whether it's Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen, or Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. And then he puts some outstanding role players around those guys, and all of this has just led to the Cleveland Cavaliers having one of the best, not just one of the best offenses in the NBA, but starting off as one of the best offenses in NBA history. And they're doing some things that we haven't seen done before. So it's been really special. The Cleveland Cavaliers right now, they have the whole NBA world shook right now. They have them spooked, because so far nobody has been able to figure out how to beat this team. But that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they are legit. They are contenders. And from what I'm seeing, that we already knew that they had the talent to win an NBA championship, and now that we see they have the system to win an NBA championship, this NBA season is going to be so good with some of the other heavy hitters in the Eastern Conference: the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, if they can get healthy, the Milwaukee Bucks, if they can figure out what's wrong with them, and also the New York Knicks. The Eastern Conference playoffs could be very exciting. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below what you feel about this Cleveland Cavaliers team, and then please subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.